Massive wildfire devastates southern Norway. More than 100 homes destroyed as firefighters battle uncontrolled blaze near Oslo. A devastating wildfire has torn through a residential area in southern Norway, destroying more than 100 homes and forcing hundreds of residents to flee. Emergency crews continue to battle the fast moving Inferno as strong winds and challenging weather conditions hamper efforts to bring the fire under control. Now, let's dig deeper into the story and uncover what really happened in our AI video explainer.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome back to the Explainer, where we break down the complex, fast-moving events shaping our world. Today, we're looking at a severe crisis unfolding over in southern Norway. We are going to analyze the anatomy of a disaster that has completely shocked a nation, a massive, uncontrolled wildfire that tore straight through a residential community with terrifying, almost unimaginable speed. And to really grasp what's happening, let's start by looking at the numbers. Over 100. Take a second to really let that sink in. That is the staggering number of homes that have already been reduced to ashes in this blaze. This one single metric highlights the sheer, terrifying scale of this disaster. Hundreds of residents have been forced to literally run for it, evacuating their neighborhoods with almost no warning, leaving their entire lives behind while emergency officials race to try and contain the destruction.
Which brings us to Section 1, the Inferno in Krokstadelva.
So we're really looking at a perfect storm of conditions here. The fire is centered in Krokstadelva. That's a community situated in the Drammen municipality, just about 50 kilometers or 30 miles west of the capital city, Oslo. But the geography is only half the story here. The real danger, the real catalyst, lies in a highly combustible, incredibly dry environment paired with exceptionally strong winds. These are the primary drivers that have turned this into one of the absolute most destructive residential fires in recent Norwegian history.
And here is the truly horrifying trajectory of this beast. This wasn't some remote forest fire that slowly, gradually crept into town over the course of a few days. The fire actually erupted right inside the residential district of Krokstadelva. Fueled by those intense winds we just talked about, it rapidly jumped from house to house, devastating entire rows of properties in a flash. And only after tearing through the neighborhood did the blaze expand outward, pushing into the nearby forest land and transforming into a massive, uncontrolled wildland fire.
Moving on to Section 2, the heartbreaking human toll.
To really grasp the speed of this event, you have to hear from the people on the ground, like local resident Finn Royne, after getting a frantic call from his daughter, who was reporting that several apartment buildings just below her home had caught fire. Finn and his son rushed over to the scene, and they just had to watch helplessly as the flames spread with terrifying speed from one row of houses to the very next. Within minutes, they saw his daughter's house become completely engulfed. In his own words, the home burned entirely to the ground. It is just a devastating reminder of the ferocity of this event.
And this brilliantly illustrates how incredible the emergency response was. Amidst all of that devastation, there is one massive silver lining: zero. Despite over 100 properties being destroyed in a hyper-fast-moving inferno, local authorities report 0 fatalities and 0 missing persons. When you consider how quickly this fire jumped from house to house, that number is honestly nothing short of a miracle. It speaks volumes about the sheer speed and efficiency of those immediate evacuations.
And just following up on that, the confirmed casualty count remains miraculously low across the board. We're looking at just one single resident treated for minor smoke inhalation and one firefighter who suffered minor injuries while out there on the front lines responding to the blaze. It is a massive, massive relief that no serious injuries or deaths have been reported amidst such widespread, catastrophic physical devastation.
Let's shift gears to Section 3, a massive emergency response.
So what does a large-scale emergency operation actually look like in practice? Let's walk through the assets they've got deployed right now. Authorities mobilized approximately 80 firefighters who are on the ground actively battling these flames. Alongside them, civil defense personnel have been deployed to support critical evacuation efforts and handle the massive logistical puzzle of firefighting. And up above, at least during the daylight hours, they have 6 firefighting helicopters providing absolutely crucial aerial support, dumping water to suppress the most aggressive fronts of the blaze.
At the local government level, the response was immediate. Drammen Mayor Kjell Arne Hermansen, who called the disaster deeply shocking for the entire municipality, immediately activated the city's crisis management team. They're out there coordinating with emergency services, the police, and civil defense. Their primary focus right now, supporting those displaced residents. They're setting up evacuation centers, organizing emergency shelters, and providing housing, medical assistance, and other essential services for the hundreds of families who literally lost everything in an afternoon.
Which brings us to Section 4, wind, woods, and nightfall.
So the crucial point is that the tactical advantage changes drastically the moment the sun goes down. During the day, those 6 helicopters are a massive asset. They're providing that crucial aerial suppression. But once darkness falls, they are forced to ground for safety. Overnight, those ground crews have to battle the Inferno completely without any aerial support. And that allows the fire to surge, continuing to spread rapidly through the dark, and making containment efforts considerably more dangerous and challenging.
With the fire having pushed deep into the surrounding woodland, the tactical approach had to shift. Police Incident Commander Frode Prestis detailed their current ground strategy, explaining that emergency teams are now attacking this highly active fire from the south. Firefighters and civil defense crews are working shoulder to shoulder out there, trying to establish strong, reliable defensive lines in the forest. Their ultimate goal is to cut off the fire's advance and extinguish the flames before they can pivot and threaten any additional communities.
And finally, Section 5, the path to containment.
All right, so what happens next? Well, currently, the exact origin and cause of the blaze remains a total mystery. Investigators simply cannot enter the hot zone until it's deemed completely safe. In the meantime, the ongoing battle hinges entirely on monitoring those unpredictable, shifting wind patterns that have repeatedly pushed flames into new areas. If, and it's a big if, those weather conditions hold steady and crews can establish their defensive lines, authorities are projecting that we might actually see full containment by Saturday.
But until that containment is officially reached, the message from Drammen's crisis management is crystal clear. Authorities are urging all residents living anywhere near the fire zone to remain highly vigilant. With the weather changing and the fire still very active out in the forest, it is absolutely critical that the public follows all safety instructions and obeys any new evacuation orders the second they are issued. The priority remains, above all else, protecting human lives.
So, all of this leaves us with a really massive question to consider as we close out today's explainer. As we've seen in Krokstadelva, this fire did not start in the wild. It erupted directly inside a residential district before it ever consumed the forest. So how must global emergency responders adapt their strategies and their resources to combat these fast-moving, wildly unpredictable fires that completely blur the lines between urban and wildland environments? It's a complex, terrifying challenge that cities worldwide are increasingly having to face. Think on that, and we'll see you next time.
Okay, one question for you. What do you think should be the highest priority during a wildfire like this? Saving homes, protecting forest, or ensuring every resident is evacuated safely? Share your thoughts and explain why you believe that should come first. Thanks.